What's happening, guys? Chris from NCG here, and today we're going to be taking a look at an Espeon Garbodor deck profile with Drampa. The reasoning for the deck is, I believe, the Espeon starter, aka the EV Psychic Energy, is just far too strong to drop completely. However, Drampa itself is obviously a fantastic card. Really helps with the Espeon mirror against really any matchup, especially its one energy attack against the likes of Ninetales, discarding the DCEs, etc, etc. So this is the sort of mix and match between them, the sort of ratios. There's a couple of ratios I want to test out, but at the minute this is the deck. I'll go through the ratios that I want to test out, maybe some changes I would like to try in the future. But let's run through the current deck list, shall we? To start off, we have 2 Espeon, 3 Eevee, and 1 Flareon. Before, I was playing 3 Espeon, 4 Eevee, 1 Flareon. Kind of cluttered a bit after, like, Espeon is really only for the early game. So that's why I'm playing less of it, because as late game goes on, it's not fantastic. Not terrible by any means, but not fantastic, not what you're looking for. Drampa is for the late game, Eevee is for the early game, so that's the sort of theory behind the deck, and the ratios between it. Flareon is for the really beefy Metagross and the Decidueyes, and the Vileplumes as well. Obviously, it just allows you to hit Vileplume harder for sort of less commitment. Because Vileplume is obviously very annoying. Item locks you out, so you can't play your float stones to trigger Garbodor, etc, etc. So that's why we're playing this Eevee line, and the reasoning behind playing the little numbers behind it. So for the Garbodor, we're on 1 Breakpoint Garbodor and 3 of the Trashalance Garbodor. That's kind of standard, and the 4 Trubbish that knows Acid Spray. Before, I was playing the other Trubbish, I believe the Guardian or the Sun and Moon one, because the milling to maybe hit items against the mirror or stuff like that seemed pretty good, but I just found out this is much better against like Ninetales, which was a really hard matchup for me. Just being able to pinch off the energies is really good. Trubbish actually has use before it turns into Garbodor, which is pretty sweet. So we're playing 8 of the Garbodor engine. Then double Drampa. One of the ratios I'm bumping this up to 3 in testing. I'm playing Rainbow Energy because I do believe 3 is enough of a commitment to play the Rainbow Energy. 2 is not. If only Eevee triggered off a special energy, then fantastic, but it does not. So that is why we're playing double Drampa. This is for the late game. Like I said, I'm trying to bump it up to 3, just get some ratios tweaked about. But Drampa is obviously fantastic. Any Pokemon that has like a 1 energy attack is fantastic. It means you don't have to wait to sort of send it out. You can start hitting off DCEs, double Dragon energies, Rainbow energies. It's just a really good card in the late game. Really good, obviously, because if your opponent's chipped you away and hasn't one-hit KO'd any of your Pokemon, then you hit them for a massive amount of damage, particularly if you have Choice Band attached. Then for the sort of supporting Pokemon, we are playing 3 Tapu Lele, 1 Shaman. 4 was a bit cluttery. It was really good. Tord is right, it adds so much consistency. However, it does take up bench space, and although this card is actually an attacker, for a DCE you can hit for 60, 80 plus, especially in like a revenge kill, it's really good. But I thought the 1 Shaman was better, because they both take up space. However, Shaman does something different that draws you lots of cards. This is particularly good when you have like Ultra Ball, so you go like, take away 3 cards to put in 1, so you have -2, Shaman will draw you a couple of cards. I agree this is a really good Lysander target. However, I would definitely exchange 2 prizes for the amount of cards that it draws into. I just think it's really good card. Sky Return Choice Band is really good for playing around decks that have to have a high energy commitment, or just being able to like put the game in your favour. I just believe Shaman is a fantastic card, and unfortunately it is rotated out, but what can you do? So that's the Pokemon. Moving on to the supporters now. For Sycamore, I believe that's kind of standard. I wouldn't play any less, even if I was playing more Lele's. It's just a really, really good card. Like, the mother of all top decks, just fantastic card, not really more to say about it. 3N, I believe is a standard, maybe it's 4 standard, I'm not too sure, but 3 seems to be the nice point for me between 2 and 4, obviously. But it's just obviously a really good card, it refreshes your hand, it's the go-to card when you're behind. It's just a very versatile card, and I'm really happy it's not rotated out, because stuff like Logarithm and Big Wheel GX would just be utterly ridiculous if it wasn't. So you have to play stuff like Judge or whatever. Double Icelander, I think 3 is the standard, but I think 3 is far too cluttery. 1 isn't enough, because if it gets prize, that's really hurtful. And then you're playing via Seeker to grab it back. So I think 2 is the really good points. Icelander for game is of course a win condition. Then we're playing the one-off supporters. Fan Club over Bridget, because I play Shaman and Lele, which are literally the 2 ones you get first turn. One of them and a Trubbish or a Eevee or whatever else. That's why I'm playing over Bridget. 1 Skyla, just to turn your Tapu Lele into search any item, like Field Blower, Choice Bands, Floatstone. Skyla is just, I think, a fantastic card. I definitely missed it when I didn't play it. And lastly, 1 Hex Maniac, because taking away abilities is just really, really good, and this card probably deserves to get rotated out. It's just bonkers. It's like Skill Drain, the Yu-Gi-Oh equivalent. So moving on to the items. 4 Ultra Ball, pretty standard. 4 Via Seeker, pretty standard again. 2 Field Blower and a Rescue Stretcher. This really should be 3. But in testing, like 3 actually cluttered quite a bit, because it's not useful against all matchups. It's not useful against like a really high Garbodor sort of room or stuff like that. Like, because that's just the reasoning for it. It really should be 3, but Rescue Stretcher is just fantastic, and there's no other cards I really want to take out for Rescue Stretcher. Just recycling Drampas, Lele, Shaman. It's just a really, really good card. So that's the reasoning for 2 Field Blower, 1 Stretcher. Moving on to the tools. 3 Floatstone, 3 Choice Bands. I don't want to play 4 of any of these cards because they do clutter. I think 3 is perfect. You have the ability to be okay with prizing them, as well as seeing them not in multiples, i.e. like 2 Choice Band or 2 Floatstone. You want 1 of each, obviously, or then draw into the others later. But this is pretty good for just attaching on to your Pokemon, then like ending or shamaning or whatever. Floatstone is obviously the ideal one for the Garbatox and Garbodor. Choice Band just turns your attacks into monstrous levels and can really hit, one-hit KO. So that's the reasoning for 6 rather than 8 or 7. I just think they do clutter, and I don't think you need more than 6. And then the energy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Psychic Energy. I've been back and forth on 7, 6 and 8, but the midpoints between 6 and 8 is obviously 7, so that's why I'm playing 7 at the minute. It's been really good. I've seen the Psychic Energy when I need to see a Psychic Energy. The first turn, bonkers, is obviously Eevee and Psychic Energy. If you're going seconds, which I do against the Mirror, because I just want to open the Eevee and Psychic Energy, I want to start smacking into them for confusion and whatever else. You could take out maybe like 3 or 4 of these for Rainbow Energy, or take out other stuff for the Rainbow Energy to play more Drampa. You could take out the Eevee package altogether, so that's 7 cards. Put in like a couple of Rainbow Energy, more Field Blowers, more. You can do that 100%. It's just, I think Eevee is just far too good first turn or in the initial setups to be dropped completely. and I don't want to commit Rainbow Energy unless I'm playing more than 2 Drampa. So that's why I'm playing 7 Psychic and of course the 4 DCE because the card's just really, really good. So yeah, that's the deck. Hopefully I've explained why the choices. If you have any issues with any of the ratios, don't hesitate to comment below. I can definitely discuss. This is just my theory, my logic, and I've told you some of the ways you can play about with the deck, edit the ratios, and put it to your liking. So please comment, rate, subscribe, check out our other YouTubes for Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic. But for now, this is Chris from SCG signing out.